multiplex. Your boy, you see next how that mag and shoddy work. Can't rid this smell with bath and body works. It's sad and probably worse. First the chroma spit. Wise guys do drive-bys and don't own a whip. Time come, divine sons need a song to rip. Thugs in harmony, cool, I got a bone to pick.
Vlogs, battles, music videos, interviews, and much more. Pushing the culture forward. No Mercy TV.
Yo, what's good, y'all? No Mercy, trap New York shit. NoMercyTV.com. Let's talk about something outside of battle rap for a second. I want to talk about this Larry Hoover thing because, as always, when information is presented, y'all don't seem to like to do research. So earlier this week, or last week, whenever you want to call it, Trump basically commuted Larry Hoover's federal sentence, right? So what that means is basically his Fed time is going to be over. Now, that does not mean that Larry Hoover is a free man. I don't know what y'all thought. I don't know what kind of research y'all be doing. Larry Hoover is not a free man, and in fact, he still owes the state about 150 to 200 years, some wild shit, right? Now I get it. Small victories do count. You understand, getting let off of Fed time and then going back to state time, that's one thing. But this, to me, is disingenuous. And the reason I say that is because for Trump, doing something like this covers two of his agendas. One is obviously pandering to the black community, which, he's always kind of did in a way. This is something he can do for quote unquote cool points from, minorities or whatever the case is. But in case y'all haven't noticed, the whole goal of what he's been doing in terms of the government with what he's been doing with Doge and everything, he's basically been taking financial responsibility away from the Fed's hands and putting everything back in the state hands. So when he's talking about Medicaid and education and all these different things that he's, cutting or whatever the case is, he's not cutting them just to outright zap them and get rid of them. No, he's putting these responsibilities back into the states, right? So that's what this Larry Hoover thing falls under. You feel me? Like anybody who he can possibly get from under federal custody and for, the federal to have to worry about and be put back into state hands, that's what he's doing. And I don't even think his intent was for Larry Hoover to be a free man. I don't think he did this and said, hey, let's put Larry Hoover back out on the streets, especially with Larry Hoover's track record and what he went in for and stuff like that. And I'm not saying this on my own words, but when it comes to them, they're not trying to have a person as influential as Larry Hoover just out and walking the streets. No matter how old he is, they not taking a chance, with somebody who was basically able to run an operation like that from behind the wall. You feel me? So if you think that for a second Trump said, hey, let's just have Larry Hoover out here back in the streets, no, that wasn't the intent. The overall goal with a pardon like that is hey, this man is going to have to be behind bars anyway if his federal sentence get commuted or pardoned. He's still going to have to go to state prison. So it's what's the point of holding him there when this guy still owes the state 200 years? You understand? It makes no difference either way. So you kind of, it's a weighing the pros and cons kind of situation, because if it was somebody where it's okay, he only had 1 year of state time to do, I don't think he would have got that pardon. Why? Because then you run the risk of him having to, be back out on the streets. But because you can just completely get rid of the Fed time, and then this guy still has to do another couple of 100 years, for a fact that means this man is going to rot away in prison. So now you have to weigh okay, do we leave this person in the Feds taking up federal resources and federal money, or do we put him back in the hands of the states to deal with for, his remaining time? And that's what they're choosing to do. Put him back in the hands of the state like they've been doing with everybody else. You understand? So these are the things you kind of got to look at when you look at moves like this being made. And, like I said, it's a quote-unquote small victory for the people who look at, he's quote-unquote one step closer to being free. But he's already had bids for parole rejected and things of that nature. I know he got another interview coming up this year, but who's to say that that's going to go well? You understand what I'm saying? So, sometimes just before y'all speak, y'all got to kind of look into these things first. Y'all got to kind of just not just look at the headline, but actually go look up the information. You feel me? Go look up what a commuted sentence is. Go look up, okay, does this person still have state time? Like, these are the things you have to look up when you're seeing these pardons, because a pardon don't exactly mean free. For people who might just have straight up Fed cases or whatever the case is and don't really have to do no state time, cool. But for people who caught both federal charges and state charges, you might want to take a look at those state charges as well and see, okay, what does this person have to serve if they Fed time get commuted? Because when they come back to the state, it's like, oh, this person still owes another couple of 100 years. It's not going to mean nothing. You feel what I'm saying? So, that's just how you got to do it when it comes to research, man. That's why I'm like the party pooper at times. You understand? Because instead of just jumping on the bandwagon with the sheep and going with the headline, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to look into it and do my research and see, okay, this guy still owed time on XYZ. And when I seen that, everybody was like, the first thing I seen, Larry Hoover coming home, and it's some quote they be saying, they let the GDs in the dough and, stuff like that. And I'm like, what are they talking about? They're like, Trump pardoned Larry Hoover. Like, hey, it's interesting. Why would Trump pardon Larry Hoover? And then you go look up the facts of the matter, and you're like, he got 200 years of state time. You see what the play is. He's taking federal resources away. Nah, go back to the state. You go do your time there and, leave us alone type shit. Like, that's the type of time Trump is on. So, like I said, man, just do research and things of that nature and kind of look into these situations before you actually form an opinion. I done seen people, of course, people rallying for him. You got the Kanyes and the J Princes and, those kind of people that's going to rally for him. And all that's cool. Support them, whatever the case is. But just know that this stuff is not being done for the benefit of us. You understand? It's done for the benefit of them. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said, just be smart. Don't jump on the bandwagon and do your research when it comes to topics like this. Feel what I'm saying? But No Mercy, Trap New York shit, NoMercyTV.com. Just came to speak on that right quick. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'll let y'all soon, man. I'm out of here.